When I say, or when you think, expect the unexpected, it is as if to check the perspective, the idea you have, to see if that makes sense or not. So it's kind of like having a different reference point. Instead of believing something to happen, move on. Sometimes we do it. Sometimes it's very necessary because that's the only way to go, or you really want to commit your idea. But even if you do that, I think it's good to revisit every now and then. Well, the point is to be cautionary because living life is with lots of unknowns, impermanence, things that you think going to happen may not happen, not in the stock market, but in relationship, your work, your health, financial situation, everywhere. So it's like walking on the minefield to see how you can get across. And the life goes on. The life, by definition, is going over the hurdle, going over the low entropy. If everything is left alone, things would crumble and we die. But the life force, the energy, and whatever the source we have in us, keep us moving. So for us to keep us moving, we want to be prepared for the unknowns. And the attitude of expecting the unexpected I think, is a really good one. Let me think about other way to say that same thing. Expect the unexpected. It, to me, is alertness. Like a samurai warrior walking on the street, thinking that there may be enemy attacking at any moment. Well, you cannot think, so you just be prepared so that you can respond when it happens. So that's one example, expect the unexpected. In case of stock trading, we develop scenario what may happen and the future expected financial position and come up with a discounted cash flow to figure out what the price may be, intrinsic value, and compare to the current value to see if it makes sense or not to buy or sell. So you develop all sorts of scenario, A, B, C, D, E, and all the probabilities for each of the A, B, C, D, E, and somehow we come up with this idea or decision to make. And more you can think of varieties of ideas from different angles with substantiating evidence and the skills to do that, you are better prepared. To me, life is the same. Lots of risks, some returns, and the dangers and opportunities. So if we are narrowly focused and not seeing the whole picture, broader picture, we may be just caught up in one idea. That's why we don't want to just carry the hammer to hit the nail. That's just the one skill. We need to have the swords and all sorts of tools to use, develop the skills to address the issues, whatever the situation pops up, which requires varieties of skills. The knowledge of varieties of industries, or the environment and the situations, or the disciplines from the science point of view or psychological point of view, or else. So living life is not an easy process if we think about all the combination of those. But the point is that we can use our mind to focus on this, A, B, C, D, but also we need to synthesize so what it means. What's the strategy you want to employ and move forward? So it goes back to the samurai warrior walking and be prepared whatever the unknown potentials to come, our life, in a way, or maybe in the true sense, is like that. If we want to live long time and a happy life. And it's a nature's way that I think we are built. Otherwise, we cannot survive. And it's pathetic if we cannot survive. So we learn the skills to figure out, do the best we can, one step at a time. Sometimes 2 steps forward and 1 step backward, or to the right, and then you went to this way too much, and then to the left. So it's kind of like a middle way, synthesizing the whole extreme cases and moderate cases, reference points, triangulate, figure out the optimum way to move forward. So expect the unexpected. Looking at the situation from various point of view. Maybe I just point one thing about death. I posted a video on my near-death experience. In a way, in many ways, I was happy that I went through that, because the situation I faced at the time, I felt I could handle the best way I know. So it's kind of like a pre-programming me to be prepared for the death, that I could do it with this example, the experience I had. And then there's this Zen saying, one of the Zen master, Suzuki Shozo, said, learn from death. Actually, in India, there are lots of stories about the monks sitting in the cemetery to watch the cadaver, the dead body, going back to the earth, impermanent. So death, simulate and learn how you're prepared, and come backward to the current situation, thinking that how you die may be so and so, and then you are prepared for that. So that if we want to die peacefully, we want to be prepared in that state with such orientation, and all our effort of our living may be based upon our thinking of how we may die. So there's a sort of like a scenario of death that you have, and with that perspective and to live in daily life, you have some sense of clarity how you face it, which is to face or expect the unexpected. I had one case of a relationship. I put into the voice memo my idea and posted on the YouTube. I said it's like my little love story. And at the age of 72, I met this woman. I thought that was wonderful. But in my mind, I was practicing this expect the unexpected for whatever reason, I don't know. Maybe because of the learning from death kind of an idea, that and knowledge about the impermanence, anything can happen. I was prepared in this relationship that things can go wrong. As you get older, the health situation, all sorts of situations can develop, and we want to be prepared, perhaps more so than when you're young. But if you're young and be prepared, and not to be too conservative, but disciplined in the way to handle the unexpected, I think the attitude toward death, the learning from death, may help us to live our life the best we can. So in this case of a relationship, if there's some unknown, at the early stage of relationship, of course, Anything can happen. You may have only a small perspective, small view of this person with lots of unknowns and lots of negativities behind that you don't know. Some great looking, but some may be very dark and you have no idea. So that's also an unexpected part of the situation. So the bottom line of this, expect the unexpected, as I mentioned, applies to all sorts of life situations. And to be prepared for dying would be connected to this alertness we can bring in living our life, to do our best and look at all the possibilities, not just narrowly focusing on one thing, but look from different point of view, maybe even talking with your friends and others, or even posting ideas on the YouTube, so that you can clarify your way as you live. It's a continuous process. As the situation changes, unknown things happens, and we ourselves change our behavior, habitual pattern, hopefully in a better direction, to be equipped to the skill to deal with the life's unknowns, impermanence, and face the death in a proper manner with perhaps a peaceful and settled or secure mind. Expect the unexpected. In my case, I had the near-death experience, which I shared in the YouTube, and I found I was at peace. So I took the experience as positive, and I want to maintain this. And the point of my talking to voice memo like this is just to clarify my mind. The mind is a tricky thing. Even if we think we have clarified and understood certain principle, some odd ideas may pop up and you want to nail it down so that we can see the picture clearly with a balanced view and figure a way out into the future best we can and a happy life along the way. Thank you. Best wishes.